How many deals have you done?
2.
How many deals have you done?
4.
How many deals have you done?
8.
How many deals have you done?
0.
What? 0 deals? There are reasons why people aren't getting in the game of real estate. And if something's been holding you back, today we're gonna figure it out. In fact, there are 3 main reasons why people aren't investing in real estate, but you might be missing out on building the fortune of a lifetime, especially in the next 5 years. Come along, let's get it fixed right now.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. Yeah. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
Most of the people, they're gambling with their financial future. They're literally rolling the dice if they're not actually in the game of real estate. My name is Kris Krohn, and I've done over $1 billion of real estate since the age of 26 when I retired for the very first time. I became financially free because the real estate that I bought produced over $12,000 a month of residual income. And at the time, that was a lot more money than my college job was actually paying me. So you know what I said? Say la vie to that job, and I started living a much better life. Real estate has created financial freedom for me. But I meet people all the time that want to be in it, they admire my results, but at the end of the day, they're not pulling the trigger, they're not going after it. So today we're tackling this. Why aren't you investing in the game of real estate? We're gonna explore the top 3 reasons why, and today we're gonna get to the bottom of it and we're gonna get it fixed. It's amazing. As I interview people all over the world, it really does come down to 3 core reasons why people aren't investing. And yet, as I go through all 3 of them today, I want you to be thinking, are these real? Are they true?
It's not true. That's impossible.
Or are these just really lame excuses? Because for me, they belong to a game plan that society has dished up for you that is designed to disempower you and keep you from living your highest and best life. If you're a subscriber on my channel, from time to time you see me, living in my beautiful multi-million-dollar home, or you see me the nice cars that I drive, or some of my world travel. I don't do any of that to boast or show off. But the reality is that's just who I am, and that's part of my life. Those are natural byproducts of you overcoming whatever has gotten in the way. Today's video, I think, could make the difference for you on actually getting in the game of real estate, playing it the right way, and winning the way you should be. So what are the 3 main reasons that people use not to invest? Well, here's reason number 1. You might have even guessed it. Not enough money. There's this really popular adage that it takes money to make money. And you know what? In almost every situation, that's true. It does take money to make money. But you see, they never really said whose money. Let me break this open for you. Many people feel that they don't have the necessary capital to invest in the game of real estate, and this might be true. Unless it's a primary residence where you can get away with more like a 3.5% down payment. You typically need 20% of a down payment if you want to purchase non-owner occupied real estate. Or in other words, if you want to buy a home that you're not intending to live in, the bank says that's higher risk. So we don't want your 3.5% down payment to live in that home. We want more of a 20% down payment to show that you got skin in the game and that you're probably going to have a higher likelihood of being responsible, getting it rented out, making your payments on time. For just a moment, look at how discouraging the game of real estate can look if you really don't know what you're doing. You might say, Kris, the prices of real estate have gone up so much and I want to buy this $300,000 house. And what would a 20% down payment be on this $300,000 house? Well, first of all, 10% of $300,000 would be $30,000. So 20% is twice that. It's $60,000. Now, by the way, I could also put that in my calculator and say 300,000 times 0.2. It'll tell me that it's 60 grand. And you're thinking, yo, I don't got $60,000 just hanging out for buying a piece of property. So guess what? They're all right. I can't get in the game of real estate. Have no fear. Uncle K is here. Check it out. When you buy real estate, it doesn't always have to take cash. Did you know that there's an entire genre, an entire philosophy, scientific approach to real estate that says, here's how you do it without money? It's called creative real estate. And it's because creativity is what you get rewarded for financially. For example, bird dogging. Bird dogging is when you say, hey, you know what? I really don't have money, but I'm going to get good at going out there and finding a deal. And you know when I find it, what I'm going to do? I'm going to go bring it to an investor that's looking for a good deal, and they're going to stroke me a check. Maybe they'll pay me $2,000, $5,000, or if it's a really good deal, maybe $10,000. Sometimes winning in the game of real estate is not about finding a good deal. It's about finding a financial partner that says, hey, if you ever find a good deal, I'll bring the money to the table and you and I, we can partner. So that's another way of being hyper creative in the game. Number 3, you could literally go about trading talents. Just be thinking, what things do you know how to do? What things are you good at that you could trade for equity in a property? Now that's getting really outside of the box, and you've had guests like Robert G. Allen on my channel before that literally made an entire name buying and selling and owning real estate just by trading talent. And lastly, you've got private lending. Literally, outside of the traditional banks, there's investors out there that have money set aside to do what's called a hard money loan. They'll basically say, hey, if you find a good enough deal and we're gonna use that as collateral, I'll comfortably put up my money for you to actually do this deal. And even though they can charge higher interest than traditional banks, guess what? You don't need good credit. You certainly worked around the whole credit situation. And in this situation, you don't have to comply with typical down payments like a bank would normally ask for. Hey, listen up. If any of that went right over your head, hang out for the end of the video and I'll give you a couple of shortcuts of how you can make that stuff happen right now. Super easy. You know, the second thing that actually keeps people from investing in the game doesn't have so much to do with money, has to do with the real estate between their 2 ears, like my mentor Dolph Ruiz always says. There's a fear factor there because if you've ever gone after something and tried to make it happen and couldn't, you know what failure tastes like. And you know what? Most of us beat ourselves up over that failure. So guess what number 2 is? It's this fear of making mistakes. There's a serious chance that you could make a mistake in getting in the real estate game. You could literally lose all your money. This is an understandable concern and happens frequently enough with people that aren't financially educated or aren't sure which choices to make. Which is why I always tell people, man, if you're gonna do something really, really big financially that you've never done before, don't go it alone. Truth is, there's a lot of people out there that are looking at all of my success or their neighbor's success or basically anyone that owns real estate right now. It's gone up 50 or 100 or 150,000 in value. And whenever that happens, it leads this charge. Everyone gets excited and they start hallucinating that everyone can be successful in the game of real estate. So everyone goes out and starts buying it. This is exactly what was happening in 2005, 6, 2008, right before the GFC global financial crisis hit. There's a ton of people that bought real estate because they simply saw it going up. And when the market course corrected, boy, did they get spanked. I mean, they got spanked hardcore. Scurvy dog! And I'm gonna tell you that's gonna happen again right now. There's people that don't really have standards. They're buying $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 homes. They're chasing the market. And I'm just gonna tell you right now that if you don't have a clear and concise strategy of what you're doing, when to buy and when to sell, how to rent and how to make it profitable, dude, there's a really good chance that you're gonna get spanked too. So I wanna share with you a rule that I have. Anytime you're gonna invest any of your own money or someone else's money in a game you've never played before, it's important to play it with someone who's been there before and who has succeeded at it. I've got a special word for that individual. I call them a mentor. And when I got in the game of real estate, guess what I did? I had 3 mentors that inspired me, 2 that I worked very closely with. And these 2 individuals, in fact, all 3 of them had literally made over $10 million in the game of real estate. And so I figured, hey, if I'm gonna do deals, these are probably the best people that can show me the way because they had something. They weren't just mentors, they had a track record. They had already done deals. And so when I came and brought a deal to them, they looked at it and laughed and said, this is a joke of a deal, don't do that. And in that moment, I felt embarrassed, I felt foolish. I felt grateful that I had their wisdom and their advice. Over the years that I've been investing in real estate, I've created a document. It'll be available in the link below so you can get a copy for free. But I actually disclose the kind of properties that I've done. In fact, the last several thousand deals that I've done. And check this out. This home right here in Florida, one of my hot markets, I'm averaging 37% on the performance here on this property year over year. You know what that means? Dude, that means that I'm doubling my money every 2 years. There's not too many people that have a track record like that. Now, there's many mentors out there, and I think what I'm sharing with you here above all is that if you're afraid of making a mistake, that's smart. You should be. Let that help preserve you and keep you from making mistakes. But it doesn't mean don't get in the game. It means instead of lining up money or trying to get pre-qualified or start looking for a deal, you have another step that is far more important. Go find a mentor with a track record. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? Or how much time does it take to actually do a real estate deal? You know, the third big concern that keeps people out of the game is right here. They simply do not believe that they have enough time to get in the game. They literally think this is going to be a part-time job. It might even be full-time. And what if real estate comes calling when I'm at that job or I'm trying to hang with my family or my friends? Well, guess what? You got no time for discoteca. You know, the very first deal that I ever did, it was the ultimate robber of time. It was a thief in the night. It was a thief during the day. And if I wasn't in college, if I wasn't at my job, I was working long, late hours at trying to fix up this property, because you know what? I didn't know any different. I had bought this property and it was a project. And I really didn't have the money to like hire experts to do the work for me. And I was trying to literally penny pinch and save everything I could. So there I was at all odd hours actually putting the work in. And you know, after a couple of months when the project got completed, I moved into it, I rented out my basement. It meant that I could live for free. It was totally worth it, but it was a massive disruption. And frankly, the properties that came after that were also similarly a huge disruption. Now, I was excited about the money I was making, so I stayed in the game. But you know what? I was making a huge sacrifice of time. And at that time, I didn't really have much of a career or anything actually going for me. I was in the process of inventing one. Not a lot of people have that luxury though. And so they're afraid they're going to get stuck in the game. And you know what? The truth is in real estate, there's a lot of strategies that will take up all the time that you're willing to put into it. And at the end of the day, the return may not actually justify that outlay. A lot of people feel that to properly invest in real estate, they would need more time and they can't afford to step away from their full-time job. Or they may feel that, you know what, it's too late. I haven't gotten in the game early enough. And I actually meet a ton of young people right here. You might be watching this and thinking, you know what, I'm busy in school. It's not the right time for me to get in the game. Time is literally one of the biggest excuses that we use to keep us from doing the things in life that are right. So here's how we overcome it. Check it out. If you want to replace your job, it's about reclaiming your time. It's about unmortgaging your life. And there are some tricks that'll help you do it. The first thing is you can do deals part-time on the side, because guess what? Not every deal has to be some fixer-upper, fix and flip, like time waster. I found literally, do you know how much time I put in the deals that I'm doing today? Minutes. Like just think about that for a little bit. Like I'll sell a house years from now and I'll make $50,000 to $100,000 on it, but I literally put maybe 10, 15, or 20 minutes in it. So I want to myth bust this idea that it takes time to make money. That's not necessarily true. By the way, you can also get better at finding better deals, and better can mean make a lot more money that makes it worthwhile, but guess what it can also mean? Find easier deals that take less time. And then on top of that, if you find people that have money, guess what? You can actually pay to have things fixed up, and you can pay to have things done instead of you doing the back-breaking work. And fourth and final, you can partner with those who actually have these better, superior deals. In other words, time is really at the end of the day an excuse. We put our time towards the things that matter most. Let me ask you, your financial future, is it worth trying to figure out how to leverage a little bit of time to become wealthy? One of my mentors taught me that if you know how to do something and make a lot of money with it, you should stop searching for another way to make more money. In other words, once you've invented the wheel, don't reinvent it, which is why for you, I have two exclusive opportunities to talk about. The first one is if you don't have any money, let me show you how to go find people that do have money and bring them my way, and I will turn that into real estate for you that we own together. But if you're sitting here and saying, but Kris, I got money in a 401k or an IRA, or I got money sitting in the equity of my home, then there's another link below. It'll say, if you do have money, and I'll show you how you can actually partner with me on some of the nation's hottest deals. And guess what? You can passively get in the game. That way, whether you do or don't have money, or whether you do or don't want to put in time, there's a way for you to get in the game, and not in a small, minor way. Did you know that if we can just literally buy a single house together, that over 20 years, I can help you turn that potentially into over $4 million. It's pretty awesome. So see what happens if we buy 5 homes or 10 homes. I've got people that literally have money coming out their ears that are playing this game with me. So whatever the excuse has been in the past, don't let fear stop you. And if it's been the lack of time or the lack of money, guess what? I've given you some good information on that, but I also have 2 links below that will set you straight and set you on your path to getting in the game and making money right now. Listen, now that you've overcome your fears that have maybe kept you from getting in the game of real estate, in this next video that I want to share with you, I'm going to show you the ultimate guide to investing in the game of real estate. Literally, step by step, what do you need to do to make your next $1 million? Check it out. How many deals have you done?
Goose eggs.
Goose eggs? Do you mean... Barrett, you stopped the take.
I like